The New York Giants' big move today just got even better. I don't think this is just like a little band aid they put to get through the rest of the season. I really think the Giants may have just found something here with their new defensive coordinator hire. So let's dive into that. But first, my name is Paul. This is Big Apple Sports. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time, please like and subscribe. And then also let me know, what are your thoughts on everything Giants right now? Obviously, the big news is Shane Bowen finally got fired today. Let me know your thoughts on that, who you'd like to see be defensive coordinator next year. But I'm going to try to sell you here on why I think Charlie Bullen could actually be the guy to lead the Giants beyond this year. So let's talk about that right now. Obviously, you all know the news. You're not coming here for breaking news about Shane Bowen. You all know it. You all know just how bad he's been here, so I'm really not going to spend any time talking about that. But what I do want to talk about is Charlie Bullen. So if you haven't really heard of him, you're not alone. Like, you generally don't hear a lot about, position coaches. He's been the position coach for outside linebackers with the Giants and with many other teams. And I'm going to kind of get into some of his history that really makes me intrigued about him. But before I get into that, I kind of wanted to touch on something that was said at the beginning of the year about him that really makes me excited to see what he can do. So in August, Kayvon Thibodeau was interviewed about him, and obviously he plays some outside linebacker. He's been coached by Charlie Bullen quite a bit. So he says he's been a great asset to me and the rest of the guys in the room, and continuing to kind of grow not just my ability on the field, but know what weight I want to play at, know what size, know what side of the ball I like, and just figuring out what works for me and kind of just honing in on it, using that as my strength. Then he said, I don't think it's necessarily a certain technique, but I think it's the consistency of greatness. It's understanding that, yeah, you know it, but let's just go over it 3 more times. I think it's that 10,000 hour mindset. And I absolutely love hearing that about him. There's 2 things in there that I really love. Like, one, just the attention to detail. Because, this team is so bad at tackling. Like, you're not seeing a ton of attention to detail on the team. So I think bringing in a D coordinator who really focuses on that is huge. But then also, I like that like Kayvon Thibodeau mentions, like, he helped me find what worked for me. And I think that's something you see so many coaches in the NFL struggle with, both head coaches, position coaches, coordinators, whatever. So many coaches are just so focused on, like, this is what I want, this is how my system runs, you need to fit into it. And they try to take these square pegs and shove them into round holes, and it never works. The true best coaches in the NFL are the ones that are like, okay, this is what I have, this is what I'm good at. Now I can scheme them in a way that fits them and can, make our defense successful. So I love hearing that about Charlie Bullen. And I think, even if I think the most likely scenario, I'm going to tell you why I think maybe he could be a long-term solution. But the fact of the matter is, right now, most likely scenario is he coaches these last 6 games and then goes somewhere else. New head coach is probably going to want to bring in his own guy. But I think in the event that Mike Kafka continues to impress, maybe if Bullen impresses on the defensive side of the ball, it's possible they decide that they want to, continue what they have going together into the future. And one reason that I think Charlie Bullen could actually be something interesting is looking at his past. So he has kind of been all over. Started in Iowa, was a defensive assistant with the Dolphins, an assistant linebackers coach with the Dolphins, and then he went to the Cardinals. When he was outside linebackers coach for the Cardinals, let me pull it up here. They were top 5 in sacks in the entire NFL, and 50 of those sacks came from outside linebackers, which is obviously who he coached. But something that's even more interesting, let me pull it up here. when he was in Arizona, he worked with Vance Joseph and Matt Burke. That like coaching tree has their hands all over the Texans, the Browns, and the Broncos. Like Joseph and Burke are the Texans and Broncos defensive coordinators right now. And those, I mean, if you haven't been watching the rest of the NFL, those are two of the best defenses in all of football. And that is who he served under. So, like, you see the attention to detail. You see the success that his units have had. You see his ability to, focus on what his players can do and not forcing them into his scheme. And then you see who he's learned from. And it's like, man, this guy really might have some serious potential. So I'm excited to see, like, I know a lot of Giants fans, like, the big news is Shane Bowen's gone. The Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, Wizard of Oz. Like, I think a lot of people feel like that about Shane Bowen right now. But I think this is going to be a great chance to evaluate Charlie Bullen. And a lot of people are already talking about, like, hey, Kafka's doing a decent job. I know there's definitely some things you could question about the way he managed the end of yesterday's game. But, like, you just see, like, this is a 2-10 team who is playing their guts out for him. Like, you have to love that about him. You have to love the creativity we saw yesterday. I mean, you got Jameis Winston out there catching touchdowns, and, like, the team was just having fun and energized, and the offense was creative. And so, like, I think you have to be a little excited about Kafka and maybe be considering him. But if he stays and you see Charlie Bullen have some success with him, like, it's very possible he stays as well. So looking at the schedule to finish off the year, pretty tough game on the road against New England. But then Washington, Minnesota, Vegas are three offenses that really don't have a lot going for it right now. I don't know if it's possible Jaden Daniels is back by that game, so we'll see what that looks like when we get there. But I love that he gets 8 days to prepare for New England and then a full bye week, and, like, we'll get a very good chance to evaluate him against these four teams to finish the year. And like I said on the show yesterday, like, the Giants have played 7 teams in a row who the worst record right now among these 7 teams is 7-4. And in 5 of these 7 games, they were winning in the fourth quarter. Like, this is a team that's close. I know not many 2-10 teams can say that, but the Giants are consistently fighting in the end of these games, and a lot of it has been Shane Bowen kind of making boneheaded decisions, like not having his best players in on the most important drives of the game. So, like, it wouldn't surprise me if post-bye week, with the, change at defensive coordinator, with what Kafka's doing, with the energy they're playing with, I assume Dart will be back by then, and just the way they've been playing tougher opponents, I wouldn't be one bit surprised if they run the table, win 4 straight to finish the year, go 6-11, 6-11. And I think at that point, you really have to consider, is Kafka the guy? Is Charlie Bullen the guy? And then even if they're not, I think it's just going to be good examining being able to evaluate what we have on defense in a new scheme. Because, like, Dexter Lawrence has not had a great year. Abdul Carter, a lot of the metrics say he's doing really well, but it's frustrating. The sacks aren't really there. So it's just going to be interesting to see, do we see some differences with a new coordinator? And it'll be better to evaluate, where this defense is at, and so like who to target in the draft and free agency. So, like, regardless of what happens in the future, this is a huge move for the Giants. I'm so excited. I mean, for one, just to not see another Shane Bowen coach defense. Hopefully none of us ever have to watch that again. And if we do, it's a Giants opponent and we can hang 40 on them. But I think this is big for the Giants in so many ways, so I'm excited to see it. So you guys let me know your thoughts, and then don't forget, just like and subscribe on the way out.